Vishta Shapurakam Guruganer Shisha Sambhushitam Chincha Samasta Veda Nipanam Shrirupa Pantanuvam Govinda Vidamujvalam Varatanam Bhaktyam Mitam Sundaram Vande Vishwa Guruncha Divya Bhagavat Premnohi Bijapanam. So we are here at Tritajan Saraswat Mat, West London, and we are continuing with our reading of Affectionate Guidance by our Gurudev, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. And we are in the middle of chapter 11, Emotion or Devotion, and yesterday we concluded with Srila Gurudev's discussion of Harinam. How can we chant if our tongue is mundane and the holy name is transcendental? And we heard from Srila Gurudev that we should pray to Harinam. We should not hopelessly give up our chanting, but we should pray to Harinam to please descend, to bestow his mercy upon us. And we will call out to the name through our attempt at chanting. I'll just read the last paragraph again where we finished. We should pray to Sri Harinam. O my Lord, you are transcendental, and I am living within this mundane world. I am Jiva's soul, and so I am also transcendental by nature. But due to misuse of my finite independence, I am covered by illusion, covered by ego. Please be kind upon me. O Harinam, give me your mercy and reveal yourself within my heart. This must be our mood of prayer. I heard from Srila Guru Maharaj that when his godbrother, Srimad Parvat Maharaj, was a young boy, he used to live in the house next door to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He told us, in my young age, I heard every night from about 2 a.m. until the morning. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur would chant the Maha Mantra on his rooftop, but you could hear that his chanting was more like calling, a heartfelt call to his Lord. So we must be serious about our chanting, and we must make obeisance to Guru and Vaishnav. We should know our Guru as perfect, but who is a Vaishnav, that we do not know, and to what extent one is a Vaishnav, that we also do not know. Someone may be 25%, another 70%, and another may be 100% or only 5%. We do not know. But we should know that everybody has some good qualities, whether they are a demon or a saint. But who is a Vaishnav, we do not know. So we must give honor to all and be respectful to everyone and be surrendered to the will of God. Then the Vaishnavas must be kind to us. That is the process given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It may be hard to follow that, but if we really need the true results, then we must proceed only in this way. And proper adjustment will be constantly required. Suppose someone will kick my father in front of me. If I will tolerate that and be humble, then he may kill my father. My father is to be protected by me. I am his young son, and he is old and weak. Therefore, it is my duty to protect him. So what is humility and what is tolerance? Everything will need to be adjusted. And Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur has given that adjustment. He says that just to make some show of being very humble, lower than a blade of grass, will not be sufficient. Of course, that is the fact, but some substance must be within your heart, and that must be the perfect substance. In every situation, you must have some realization. Should someone abuse your Guru in your presence, then what will you do? If you think, I am very humble and I shall be tolerant to him, then that is not real Trinadapi Sunichena. We find the proper response in the person of Srimad Mahaprabhu, who preaches this philosophy. When Sridhar Swami, the original commentator of Srimad Bhagavatam, was insulted by Vallabha Acharya, then Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, you do not give recognition to Sridhar Swami. Who will not give respect to their Swami, they are a prostitute. Prabhu hasi kohe Swami namane je jan veshar bitare tare koriye ganan. Then everywhere there is harmony, some adjustment, and with full consciousness we shall try to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Under proper guidance we can read everything. We have a right to read, but that must be under the guidance of a perfect person who knows fully that plane. Then no offense will come to us in any way, and we shall not become prakrita sahajiyas. Knowledge just for its own sake has no real value and will not give us our real goal. I recently met one old friend in New York. He is a disciple of Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada and famous as a Pandit. He is accumulating much scriptural knowledge and learning, and he is constantly questioning me, and all very taxing, complex, scriptural questions. Finally, I told him, Prabhu, what are you doing? You are questioning me, and I am giving you answers. But then, are you proceeding or are you remaining in your present position? If you think you are getting any benefit from me, then why are you not coming with me? Why are you remaining here? Come forward with me, otherwise why spend my time? I asked him, are you satisfied with my answers? He replied, yes, Maharaj, I am very satisfied. Then what will you do with my answers? If that does not reflect in your life, then all your questions are useless and all my answers are useless to you. My time is wasted and your time is wasted. If you are satisfied with my answers, then why are you not coming with me? Then he replied, oh Maharaj, I have no money. I cannot come right now. We must be very serious in our practicing life. Then I can give you a guarantee that you must get your goal. This is, this is also expressed in the analogy of Srila Saraswati Thakur of the bee on the glass of honey, right? You can spend if you're outside that glass, you can spend a long time describing what that honey looks like and discussing the exact, composition and chemical nature and carbohydrates and sugars and calories and so on and so forth. And one can become very knowledgeable, the level of antioxidants and the viscosity. Exactly. But that's not giving you a real taste. You're not actually tasting the honey there. So in the same way, we can spend our time to become very knowledgeable about different aspects of devotional life. But if we are not actually using that knowledge in order to, in a living and practical way, increase our taste, increase our devotion, increase our connection, our of dedication, then it is all for no purpose. That if that knowledge is not leading you to getting a better taste of that honey, then the knowledge is useless. We must be very serious in our practicing life. Then I can give you a guarantee that you must get to your goal. And Gurudev, he was very clear sometimes, and very practical. Like what he's he's saying, I have something. I know that I have something. And there's also a kind of assertion here where Gurudev's saying, I know that I have something. And I want to give it to you, but do you really want it? I know I can give this to you. I can give you a guarantee, he's saying, that you can have it. But the question is, do you really want it? And are you actually ready to do what it takes to get it? We must be very, like Gurudev told one devotee, I want to give you Krishna prema. I want to give you Krishna prema, Can you follow me? I want to give you Krishna prema. Please follow my instruction so I can give you Krishna prema. Very, very clear. Very practical, clear transaction. So, this is a real thing. We have to be serious about it. Then I can give you a guarantee that you must get your goal. You are in the line of Srila Guru Maharaj. You have the mercy of Srila Swami Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. Then you must get it, but you must be very conscious about your practicing life. I have seen many in our line who think they are proceeding very happily and practicing very happily, but they are not seeing themselves through my eyes. Wow, it's really heavy. And we could see that on Gurudev's face sometimes. Gurudev was very accommodating, and he could really humor us. But once you became a little more familiar with Gurudev's expressions and ways of speaking, then you could understand sometimes what he was saying. There was some layered meaning there. He may say something that sounds very complimentary, but he's actually saying something else. And he would just look at you, and you'd feel like he's like cutting right through all your layers of ego. And, it was like someone mentioned earlier, was like when he would say something, it was so loaded. There was so much behind that.
High fidelity. Lines of, that was true.
I remember this one time, one of Gurudev's personal servants, they were, because it was coming from like a Western society. It was quite austere actually. If you're used to all your, particularly this example is about food. If you're used to all your like food comforts, like all the things that we pick up in the local shop, and pizza and pastries, and even just like bread and sandwiches, cheese, chocolate, all these things that we're eating here so commonly. We wouldn't have it. It would be rice, dal, and sabji every day. So sometimes devotees would it was a little too much for them, and maybe they'd go out and get something in different places, so they'd have devotees bring them things. But anyway, I remember once one of Gurudev's personal servitors, so that's like from where we are, but from where Gurudev is, he's seen things very differently. He's what we're seeing as tasteful, he's seeing as rubbish, actually. He's interested in prasadam. He's seeing what's coming from the Lord. That is of value. He's coming from a completely different angle. So anyhow, I remember this one time, one of Gurudev's personal servitors was, they were preparing something for themselves, but they were using Gurudev's fridge. So they had all these ingredients in Gurudev's fridge, and then they were going back and forth like to their room, like where they were preparing something. So, and Gurudev's seated. This is in the Calcutta temple, right? So Gurudev's chair is like right by the door. So they're going in and out, like back and forth several times, like going in round to his fridge and taking some things out, and then going to the room and then coming back. It was like 3 or 4 times it happened. And Gurudev's just, it was a quiet afternoon. Gurudev's just sitting there with this grave look on his face, like observing, And then finally he just commented. I guess I was sitting there for some reason. I don't remember why. But Gurudev, he commented, or maybe I was doing something in the office, or was an office there or something, I don't know. But then Gurudev just had this very grave look on his face, and he said very soberly, "You are very busy." You're very busy. So like Gurudev would make these very neutral comments, and you could take it how you would like, how you liked, you know. You could take it as just like a neutral observation he was making, or you could take it as you're very busy doing nothing. You can go to Bhagavatam. There's this famous verse in Bhagavatam, Shota, which Gurudev liked, and maybe he was thinking, because everything that the Paramahamsa Vaishnava is saying, there's so much scripture behind that. They are living scripture. But I know Gurudev liked this verse, so he may have even had it in his mind. But it's in the beginning of Bhagavatam. Shotavya dini vajranja nirnam shanti sahasrasa apashyatam atmatattvam griheshu griha grihina. Something like that. But saying that persons who are blind to the absolute truth, they find many things to be busy about in this world. That they find many things to hear. Their senses are very active in this world. So they find many things to hear, many things to see, many things to taste, and so on and so forth, like that, So this sense of being very busy, being very active, but on the negative side, on the side of this temporary, phenomenal world. So Gurudev would make comments like that, sometimes, where it's very neutral, statement, and you could take it however you could choose to ignore it. You could take it as a compliment, or you could take it as a sharp, cutting, critique. Such heaviness. Gurudev had such a gravity about him, a very deep sobriety about him. So I've seen many in our line who think they are proceeding very happily and practicing very happily, but they are not seeing themselves through my eyes. And there was this other time when Sudarshan Prabhu told me that he was going to, let's just say he was going to meet some particular group of persons, and Gurudev commented, "Oh yes, I know them, and they're very expert at playing mridanga. They're very expert at putting on dhoti, very expert at tilak, but I'm thinking that their spiritual life is finished in this lifetime." He said, very heavy, very heavy, very heavy. I mean, maybe I shouldn't even say this live, but fixed on, what he's saying here. They think they're doing very well. They're very good at the dress. They're very good at the form. But what's actually going on inside, And he also commented about persons who could, recite so many verses from memory, but the life is not there. They're missing that real spiritual vitality. So, it's a very sobering, reminder. That's not what we're interested in. That's not real Krishna consciousness.
Well, we're not interested in thinking that we're doing well.
No, I don't know if I would say that. We want to do well to please Guru and Vaishnava and for our own progress, but we need to understand what doing well means. It doesn't mean that we can dress, Of course, this isn't an excuse to be shabby like me. I'm way too shabby right now. It's hard for me to get with the dressing smartly thing. I'm trying. So it's not an excuse to have messy hair and old saris like me. And not fresh tilak. It's not an excuse for that, But anyhow, I've made the point here. Gurudev also liked us to dress nicely, to be smart, We have to find the middle path, That is always advised, the middle path. We have to keep our focus on the substance. What is the substance? But we don't completely neglect the form also. Okay. Once I said, what is devotion and what is emotion? Are you under emotion or are you under devotion? You cannot see. Hearing this, Sripad Janardamar said, "Oh Maharaj, you are chastising me." Actually, it is not to chastise anyone. I want to be serious for everyone and for myself also. Already 64 years of my life have passed, and how much longer I shall live, I do not know. If we are under emotion, then we must leave that and try to go to devotion. Heart and soul, I am trying. Guru Maharaj gave me some service. Previously, in the time of Guru Maharaj, whatever service I did, he would digest. If I did right or if I did wrong, he is digesting that, and my service is getting some position. But now all my good and bad is coming to me, and so I must be even more serious. And all the devotees are really very good. Otherwise, why are they coming in the line of Krishna consciousness? Then I must be serious for them also. I must teach them, please come this way, don't go that way. That is my duty given by Srila Guru Maharaj, and if I can do that seriously and with all sincerity, then they will get the result. I will get the result, and Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. The whole world will be benefited. Very, clear and strong, earnest message from Srila Gurudev. And as we mentioned earlier, this was one of Gurudev's themes, emotion and devotion. And there's there were some other talks that are recorded where Gurudev was talking about this, and they were, Chagimarsh published them on the Gaudiya Darshan website. I think there were 2 articles where Gurudev was discussing these points. And I remember one point that he made was that he gave one nice example, actually, how he was making a comparison between emotion and devotion, and he gave one example of devotion that we have some real earnestness about service life and our making progress and all of these things. He gave a nice example that he said, if it's early in the morning and the time for arti has come and there's no bells ringing, there's no pujari around, there's nothing happening, then what will you do? If one is very an example of devotion would be that we might just complain, like, oh, the pujari is late, they're really slack here. But he didn't say that part, but he just gave the example of devotion that, what will I do? I will try to find out, is the pujari okay? Can I do something to help? Maybe I can start making the preparations, like that. I thought that was a very nice example because it's something that we practically experience, right? Like we often see persons making complaints, right? About, anyone in management knows about that. You often have persons making complaints about why things are being done like this and they're not being done like that, or why isn't this happening? Why isn't that happening? And many persons have their opinions and are happy to criticize or comment. But when it comes to someone who's actually ready, like to give their energy, to give their time, their energy, their resources to actually do something about it, then the number goes down. Much fewer persons. So we see that something needs to be done, and we don't just want to idly make a comment about it, but we actually really care. We're actually making an effort. We're sacrificing our energy to try to support that cause. So that was one, I thought, very nice example that Gurudev made between, distinguishing between emotion and devotion. And he also commented another comment he made was that devotion, a symptom of devotion is steadiness. Emotion, there's kind of like a burst of something that fizzles out, like we may see in persons or, ourselves experience, we get really excited about something and it lasts like 2 days, or in general, as a whole in our practicing life, we may see persons who go through like a month or a few months of being very enthusiastic, but then it fizzles out. But devotion is steady. Devotion is persevering, and so. For that reason, we really, although we may not all get along, anyone who's like been seriously practicing for any length of time, we have to really honor that. We have to really, really appreciate that, because it means they have some substantial devotion in their heart. I remember when I was like kind of like fresh in my young fanaticism, I remember I was like quite critical of a lot of the senior devotees, because I felt like what did they actually do, I'm running around doing this and doing that, and what are they doing, But as time goes by, and I've had to face different challenges in Krishna consciousness, both within myself and from the environment, it's given me this new appreciation for devotees who have been able to carry on, for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, or however long. Because just to be able to do that, actually, it requires like some very serious level of dedication. To be able to maintain, some like substantial degree of faith and enthusiasm. That's not a light matter, not at all. In the face of all the challenges that will come. So just to be able to continue, if someone's able to do that in a steady manner, even if their level of contribution is not that high, but that they're maintaining a particular level of faith, that means they have something very valuable. So we have to honor that. And Gurudev also, he mentioned how how we have to think in a sober way, in our inspiration in Krishna consciousness. We should try to be sober and grounded in, those weren't his exact words, like grounded in reality, but he was speaking along those lines. And he gave the example that someone may give all of their money, to Guru and the temple, and then they don't have any money to take the bus to go back home. Then they have to go back to Gurudev. Oh, Gurudev, this has happened. This has happened on a few occasions with Gurudev. They give everything. Oh, Gurudev, I want to give you everything, and then now I don't have money to get back home. Or I don't have money to buy food or medicine, or so.
Oh, Gurudev, can I just borrow $20?
So to have some, to be grounded in practicality, like what is actually your level of faith and devotion. Like if someone's actually living on that level of faith, then they can actually do something like that. But if you're not really on that level of faith, then it's just a type of emotion, and then you'll be put in an awkward position. I mean, like the way that the Babajis lived. That's how they lived. And this, like, there's that story of I think it was Jagannath Das Babaji. And somebody gave him 1 rupee or 50 paisa, something like that, and then he carried it for some distance, and then he came back, returned it to the person, and said, this 1 rupee is so heavy, I could hardly carry it, like a few 100 meters. I don't know how you can carry so many rupees, And of course, he's not talking about the physical weight, but he's talking about that consciousness that's behind it, and all the karmic entanglement that's behind that. This is weighing me down, So he's living in this fully surrendered position. Gorkishore Das Babaji is living under an upturned boat, eating raw rice that's soaked for a few days with chili. Like when you're at that level of devotion, then you can do things like that, like give everything away and, go live on a street corner somewhere, if you but let's not imitate, let's be practical. Of course, we don't want to dismiss such enthusiasm that may arise in the hearts of the devotees. It is it is a charming thing, We don't want to criticize that. But, we want to be progressive and sober and practical, realistic in our spiritual lives. So, emotion or devotion. We want to be in this for the long haul, That's kind of the idea there. And we want to really try to understand, where am I now? Where am I trying to go? And to, plot our journey, thinking in terms of not just what I'm feeling right now, but in terms of a long stretch of time, lifetime after lifetime. So to be too rushed or to be too emotional, these things will not help us in the long run of things. At the same time, if somebody does, take a leap that they're not ready for and they suffer as a result, that's also okay. Krishna will take care of them. Their intention was not bad, their intention was good. So they will also be taken care of. There's no loss in the ultimate, big picture of things. Okay, well, you can finish there. I think that's the end of that chapter. But very nice, very nice. Gurudev had so many different moods, and he he had that mood of being very, very, very sweet and very charming and very accommodating. But he also had this mood where he could be very sharp, and very heavy. There's that comment in Chaitanya Charitamrita, how the great souls, they're sometimes soft like a flower and other times hard like a thunderbolt. So, Gurudev could sit and ask you, how many puris did you have in your airplane meal? He'd sit and chat about the most insignificant things, and he could be like very, very affectionate, to the extreme, and, extraordinarily caring and intimate. To ask, what he would ask lots of devotees, what did you have on your airplane? What meal did they serve? He asked me once, and then I mentioned some puris, and then he wanted to know how many puris. and he'd do that with so many devotees. So he had that mood, of being very sweet, like a family member, very close. And very, very accommodating. But then, he could also be like the mood that he's shown there, very, straight, Then, he had this thing about this very, Paramahamsa mood about airplane meals. But then on one occasion I heard him saying how actually it's not so nice to eat airplane food, He was saying, we are eating, but unhappily we are eating, if we can avoid it, it is better. So he would veer from kind of I guess you could say a relative perspective, just being going with the flow of things and interacting in a very simple way. But then he also had this other more from an absolute angle. We don't really want to take this, I don't know, I have to think if I phrased that properly. He had this very broad, Paramahamsa view of appreciating everything, but then he also had this, sharper and more, I think you get what I'm saying. I'm not expressing it very well. I have to think about it.
From my perspective, the sharper mood, or whatever.
That's more of a relative mood, actually, isn't it? More we're practitioners and we're trying to follow more of a sattvic lifestyle. And then the Paramahamsa broader mood is maybe more of an absolute approach. Is that what you were going to say?
The other way around.
Oh. We have to think about this one.
Because, if I the way that you've expressed it before, really resonates with me. I'm not sure but you don't necessarily just want to be pat on the head. You might want to have a more serious relationship, not as in we're practitioners, but as in
because it's progressive.
Yeah, because
it's progressive.
My I guess you need some heart melting and also some checking. Both are important.
Yeah, in the example of the airplane food, no, I don't think Gurudev was saying his mood was not never take airplane food. He was seeing both sides. So just to rush to Gurudev really likes airplane food, that's not that's not that's not the full picture of things, But at the same time, he's not saying don't eat airplane food, But we're developing some consciousness and some more developed feeling about these things. But I think he would have, like, if someone felt they didn't want to eat airplane food, I think he would also appreciate that. Anyway. The main thing Gurudev was interested in was devotion, actually. So that's the essential point. Anyway, maybe we'll turn off. Are you about to start the arti? We can maybe film the arti. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. You can. Jai.
Kiva Jaya Jaya Gaurachare Aditya Shobha Jaya Jaga Manalo
Jaya